What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. Vanderbilt kicks off things in the SEC when they face Northern Illinois on the SEC network. This game will be at noon Eastern time. Vanderbilt favored by 6.5 points in this game. This is a must-win for the Commodores. They are 0-3 now. Have looked decent at times. You know, if you look at their first 3 games, there have been some flashes here and there, but they just really haven't put together a full game, and this will be a good opportunity for them to do that when they host Northern Illinois. Next up, we've got Arkansas taking on Texas A&M, and this game will be at noon Eastern time as well on ESPN. Texas A&M favored by 23 points in this game, and if you've watched these two teams this year, you would probably understand why they're favored by so much, but you look at last year, this was a 7-point game. Texas A&M did win it, but it was close. And Arkansas has looked terrible, yes, so far, but they're going to be desperate for a win in this game. Desperate just to look better, just to be a little bit more competitive. So watch for them to bring some fight to Texas A&M, especially early. I don't know that they're going to be able to sustain that and keep this game, you know, a one-possession game like it was last year going into the fourth quarter. But I do think they'll keep this game a little bit closer than the experts think, and at halftime you're going to see the score of this game, and it may be a one-possession game, but then Texas A&M likely will pull away in the second half. Alabama hosting Ole Miss on CBS, 3:30 Eastern time. Crimson Tide favored by 38 points in this game. Not really sure why CBS chose this game. I would have thought maybe Auburn, Mississippi State would be a better game. But whatever, that's what they picked. Anytime there's not a great game, they're usually going to go with the highest ranked team like Alabama or Georgia. That's probably why they went with this game. I don't expect it to be close at all. Alabama will score a ton. 38's a pretty big number, though. I don't know if Alabama will cover that. That's, again, a huge number, 38 points in a conference game. Florida against Towson there's no spread here. It's an FCS opponent, so they should roll. This game's on the SEC network at 4 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Central time. The Gators trying to start 5-0 before a huge matchup with Auburn. And keep in mind, if Auburn is able to beat Mississippi State, this is going to be a top 10 matchup between two 5-0 teams. That's going to be big time coming up in a couple of weeks. And speaking of Auburn, they do host Mississippi State. Again, I think this will be the biggest game in the SEC this week. Tigers are favored by 10.5 points. The game is on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern time. I think Auburn will come out and play really well in this game. Even though they've won against Texas A&M and Oregon, they've kind of looked sloppy at times, especially on offense. I think they put together a really good game offensively, and I actually like the Tigers to cover the 10.5 points in this one. South Carolina hosting Kentucky on the SEC network, 7:30 Eastern time. Gamecocks are favored by 3 despite the 1-3 start. This is a toss-up in my opinion. Kentucky has owned this series the last few years, and yeah, they lost Terry Wilson to an injury at the quarterback spot. They do have Sawyer Smith in there, who has played pretty well, but he's banged up. I don't know for sure if he's going to be able to go in this one. Ryan Helinski also banged up, so who knows what we're going to see in this game. Who knows who the quarterbacks are even going to be. So this is one that I think you cannot make a prediction on. It could just go a number of different ways. So all we can do is wait and see what happens when it's Kentucky versus South Carolina in primetime on the SEC network.